Yo, 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 listen up. Arabica is past its prime, cause this is researching Robusta time. Hello and welcome to a new episode of Researching Robusta with me, Francis Peck, here in Meise Botanic Garden. And this episode is a really special one, let's say, dedicated to the PhD student Robusta Rob, who actually got his PhD. So I want to use this opportunity of discussing, what does it mean to do a PhD in coffee. Maybe, who knows, maybe you are interested in joining our forces. There's so much you could still actually do. Of course, the Botanic Garden, the central unit is this herbarium where you have all these sheets and they're organized according to region and family. And here we have the Rubiaceae, so that's the plant family from which or in which the Coffea genus, so that's the genus having all the coffee species, so not just Coffea arabica and Coffea canephora, known as Robusta, but also Coffea euphonoides, for example, who's a parent from the Coffea arabica. And so all this research work is being saved here from expeditions from the last century up to now, going everywhere in the world, specifically in Africa. And you can see we have Coffea liberica, different types. Here it's saying Coffea indet, and I would imagine that means indeterminate. They know it's a coffee family, but they don't yet really know, is it a new species? Seeing here Madagascar, on which I've also worked on the garden project. So that's where you can basically come and then have a look at different species. Let me try all the way here. What do we have? Alright, so we have exactly a Coffea eugenoides, and then you can have a look at it. So this one has been collected by A. Schmitz, and it usually it should have a date. So this one was on the 30th of August 1961. So in Rob's PhD, I had a question on euphonoides, and I'll have a clip where you can kind of see our questioning. Before you get to questioning in a PhD defense, of course, you have the whole trajectory.
Everyone, thank you for joining me on a Friday evening. It means a lot to me. Normally I start by introducing myself, but I feel like with all these familiar faces that's not necessary. Today we'll talk about coffee, a lot about coffee. We'll go from coffee quality to the history of coffee, coffee chemistry, and overall coffee quality, focusing on Robusta. Let me start by asking a general question. Who here drinks coffee by show of hands? Who drinks coffee on a daily basis? In line with the Nespresso survey in Belgium, where almost more than 7 out of 10 people drink coffee on a daily basis, which makes it, in theory, the most consumed drug worldwide, because caffeine is listed as a drug. But how is coffee produced? And where does it come from? Well, coffee starts at a tree.
Usually a period of minimum 3-4 years or a little bit longer, where you work on your topic. And in Rob's case, that was really going into the genetic taste profiles of Robusta coffees and trying to see what is the genetic potential. So he went on many trips to Congo to work there together with local researchers on trying to assess what possibilities do the Robusta trees that are growing there have for the future, and for selecting new varieties with nicer taste profiles. So after doing about 4 years of research and having publications on this, of course, to share his results and insights with the broader scientific community, he got to have his internal defense. And
This feels like Harry Potter placing like something. Instead, it's where we're going to grill Robusta Rob for his PhD defense.
this, I had really the privilege of being invited on the jury, which meant I could dedicate some time studying his work on coffee. So of course I was very excited. And then basically what you do in a first internal defense is you really go into the very detailed questions of, seeing if the candidate, the PhD candidate, what maturity in his scientific method did he reach. So you try to find difficult points or in the methodology or how the research questions are framed. And so it's kind of a back and forth between the jury and the candidates in this internal defense, and it's not a dangerous place, but it's closed off from the general public, so that because it's just science is central, and you help each other as scientists as being as critical as possible, respectfully. So that's what we tried. So that was this internal defense
here in the beautiful Castle Park at Leuven, the university town near Brussels. So let's.
And then also in the same campus in Leuven, but a different faculty, the bioengineering faculty, we then had the public defense, where the candidate at this point, he has revised his work based on that internal defense, and now he gets to share it with the general public. So he had a presentation of 45 minutes where we can see his introduction. And then after the introduction, you also have a back and forth between the candidate and the jury. So I got to ask some further questions. And one of the questions that I actually start out with is about this Euphonoides, as he made the analogy of comparing Coffea arabica to a horse and Coffea canephora to a donkey. And it's always a brilliant idea to use analogies to try and communicate your scientific findings. And it was also a very, let's call it, fertile setting for me to then start teasing a little bit with my question, which we can now follow.
Well, first of all, congratulations on your great work. And I can truly say that I learned a lot through it as well, and I really enjoyed studying your work and then coming up with questions. But not just that, in the garden you also let me taste the Robusta coffees, and I must say in the beginning of my work at Meise I was skeptical about Robusta. I loved it because I love coffee and having anything to do with it, but I didn't know I would ever really like a Robusta coffee, and you showed that it's possible. I mean, I just tasted it, so you turned me into a believer, let's say. Now let's get to the questions. I based myself mainly on your presentation because I already had the opportunity to really have a lot of questions on your booklet. Also, I commend you on your science communication and using analogies, but I am going to ask you to reconsider the horse and donkey analogy, because I would personally say that Robusta makes a better horse. It's stronger. And I think you also couldn't say that Arabica is the donkey then. You can improve this analogy. And can you explain how and why you could improve this analogy?
Oh, that's a difficult question. Yeah, I
Think about hybridization.
Yeah, there are of course hybridization options where you cross different species with each other. You have it for again the Robusta, where you cross Arabica and Robusta with each other. That's one solution to combine best of both worlds.
It's a point, but I'm going in a different direction, and that is that Canefoy is of course kind of a parent of Arabica. So
the father,
yeah. So who's the donkey and who's the mule?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. In that way, then is if you use that analogy, then Arabica is a mule because of the crossing with Eugenioides. So yes, the analogy is that's why I said it's dangerous to do it in a group full of biologists. It's for the general public to take away the differences, to see how they are treated. If you see a beautiful purebred Arabic horse compared to a donkey in the field, that's a bit the comparison I wanted to make.
Yeah, exactly. I had to
Was it a light, medium, or dark roast? How was it for you? Your roast was medium, your actual coffee roast was dark, which is very nice for the coffee flavor. But it was very nice, some very interesting questions, especially from your side, thinking outside of the box. Also, I really like the philosophical questions.
Okay, yes, thank you. That's what I try to achieve. So it's no longer just Robusta Rob. Now it's Dr. Robusta Rob. Congratulations.
Thank you, but I prefer Robusta Rob.
Just Robusta Rob. Yes, I'm also just trying to spec. So enjoy, and yeah, it was great to follow. Thank you. Bye bye.
So, I hope you enjoyed this back and forth, and this concluded, let's say, my involvement in judging his work, which I was personally just being involved at this level. I was very honored and I really enjoyed it. And it kind of puts me in the coffee research world, just one tiny step for me, let's say. And I would be very excited if anybody is interested in coming here to the Botanic Garden and joining me for a PhD program on coffee. There's many possibilities. You can try and find new species, then also you can work on the tracing of coffee beans to their origin, linking that to tasting profiles. There's just a wide range of possibilities, and if you're interested, just contact me and we can see how our interests, skills, methods, how we could align, and if you could come to the Botanic Garden for a PhD program. So hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for following, and looking forward to seeing you on a next one or here in the Botanic Garden.